This is 93 Million with Doug Andrew. Welcome to 93 Million with Doug Andrew, where we talk about how to optimize your assets, minimize taxes, and empower the three dimensions of your authentic wealth. My name is Greg Dukowitz, your host, facilitator, and IUL specialist. And in today's show, we're talking about the biggest dangers to retirement. Is the 4% rule too high? And is more IUL competition better for you? And we're joined by the OG of properly structured IUL, New York Times best-selling author, and author of The Laser Fund, and the creator of the three-dimensional wealth, Doug Andrew.
Great to be here again.
Good to have you. The master of the Max Funded IUL, co-author of The Laser Fund, and the Mad Max of the Max Funded, Emran Andrew.
Thanks. Welcome to be here.
Good to have you. A co-author of The Laser Fund and a man who strategizes about indexing in his sleep, Aaron Andrew.
Thanks. Happy to be here, and I got some numbers to show you today.
All right, excited. And our featured host for today, top IUL specialist, and apparently a new addition as a guest, Barry White.
That's right. It's good to be here and feel the love.
Scott Reynolds. Good to have you, Scott. All right, gentlemen, I'm excited for our today's topics for today. Let's just jump right in. What are the biggest dangers to your retirement? There's a little game I like to play where I ask the interwebs about topics which this panel knows a little bit about, just to see what answers we get back. So I ask the question, what are the biggest dangers to long-term money and retirement? According to Merrill, it's outliving your money, changes in market or market volatility, inflation, and rising medical expenses. According to Fidelity, it's longevity, healthcare, inflation, asset allocation, and withdrawing too much money. And according to AARP, it's about the same, except they add in family risk and policy risk, meaning potential changes to Social Security policy. Doug, is there anything missing from these lists? And what are the biggest dangers for long-term money in retirement?
Yeah. I've been doing this for north of 5 decades, and taxes.
There's no taxes on
Taxes.
Oh,
There's
my
no
heavens.
taxes.
I didn't want to bring that up. Okay.
The largest bill you'll have over your retirement years.
So
taxes.
I remember more than 45 years ago, I began to illustrate what we call the tax and inflation power curve. Okay, because in the 1980s, we had high inflation. Okay. So taxes and then inflation and then market volatility are the three big dangers that cause most retirees to outlive their money. So in this tax inflation power curve, in a nutshell, if you had $1 million nest egg, and let's say you were earning 10%, okay, theoretically you ought to be able to pull out $100,000, right? Without depleting your principal. Well, not if you have to pay tax. Right. If that's a deferred IRA 401k.
Right.
In a 33% tax bracket, and people in California between federal and state, that's very common, okay? So you have to pull out 50% more money in a 33% bracket. You have to pull out $150,000, pay tax of a third, 50 to net 100. Your $1 million will be gone in 11 years, okay? So that's the tax portion of the tax and inflation power curve. So if you could get by on $100,000, and the reason why we like IUL, you pull out $100,000, you net $100,000 because it's tax free. But see, if you had to pull out 150 to net 100, and then what if inflation averages 5%? So you use the rule of 72 to calculate this. A lot of people use the rule of 72 to figure out how fast your money will double at a given interest rate. Well, you can do it to see how fast inflation will double the cost of living. 5 into 72 means the cost of living will double in 14.4 years. So if somebody retires at 65, by age 80, and there's a lot of people that make it that long, okay, you will need twice as much to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread. So now this person has to pull out $300,000, net $200,000 in order to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread.
Right.
So taxes and inflation, let alone trying to time the market because of market volatility.
Right.
And I'm sure sometime in this podcast, we're going to talk about, wow, $300,000, that would be a 30% payout I wonder if the financial services industry has a suggested payout to not outlive your money.
29%.
Yeah, it's way under 30%, 29%.
I won't get ahead of us here.
No
But yeah, the three
spoilers.
big dangers: taxes, inflation, and market volatility. Because people see their nest egg like in the year 2001 to 2003, and they see it go down, 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 and they will run out of money.
Yeah.
And so those are the three big dangers.
But if they don't list that on here, though, that's not a risk. So tax is not listed.
It's not listed
it's
by
not a
any of
risk.
those people. I love how they listed if you withdraw too much money. That's a risk. I was like, really?
Oh,
Wow.
that's how that works.
How much is too much? I wonder if 30% payout is too much.
That's a good question.
To keep up with
Foreshadowing.
inflation.
If you didn't catch on, that's our next segment. So
Yeah,
foreshadowing
there
to
we go.
segment 2. Emron, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, I mean, you see it. I mean, whether you start with longevity risk, living longer than expected. Well, what's expected?
Yeah.
I mean, when are you expecting me to die?
Right.
You know, I'm like, I don't want to die. I live long and prosper.
Right. Yeah.
But you look at all. I mean, you take it all into consideration right there. I mean, obviously the sequence of returns and typically, taxes. If you can maintain, because it's really your take-home pay.
Right.
Too many times in the financial services industry, they just go off of gross numbers. They don't go off of what you're actually able to spend.
Right.
Your
Yes.
actual, like your net paycheck.
Yes.
Right. You don't get to, I mean, I wish, everybody kind of knows what their income is, but most people know what their income is, what they get to actually
Net.
take home.
Yes.
What gets deposited in their bank account
like-
after taxes.
It's like when kids get their very first paycheck and they realize
Yeah.
they had taxes withheld.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of the same thing
It
in
blows them out. They're
retirement.
like, what? What is this, Dad?
I mean, and if you can eliminate that, because taxes will be, if not your biggest bill, one of your largest bills over your retirement years.
Yeah.
And imagine if you can just be smart and eliminate, reduce, manage, or reduce, 20, 30, 40, 50, or even 60% of that bill. That money goes right back into your pocket. That's probably one of the single largest improvements I see people can make in their retirement years is just being more tax savvy.
Yeah. That's a great point. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would just echo everything that's already been said, but the main reason people come to us is for tax-free, tax-free, tax-free. Yeah. Everybody wants tax-free because they're so tired of paying taxes. And
Because they
worried
were
about
lied to.
taxes.
I mean, everybody's told what? When you retire, you'll be in a
Lower tax
I
bracket.
mean, that's just. I mean, you talk to
Most
anybody
people-
who save. Obviously, if you don't save, you might be in a lower tax bracket.
Right.
Those people that save tend
Yes.
to be in the same or higher tax bracket when they hit
And
retirement.
I'd rather pay taxes when I'm earning money and I know I can make money. When you're retired, it's like, I'm not making money anymore.
You can't overcome
need
that
to- yes.
deficit,
Yeah,
right?
It's like,
I need
yeah,
to
so-
eliminate all of the variables. Taxes is a
fixed
variable.
income.
It's so nice just to take some people's assets, move it over to tax-free. So like at least this portion of your money is going to be tax-free. So if you have some taxable, all right, fine. But, then you're not bumping up into higher brackets if we have a good portion that's going to be in an IUL that's going to generate tax-free income.
Scott, why don't they mention taxes in any of those lists?
Yeah, I think because they're dumb. But
No, really. Tell us how you feel.
I think that it's just something that most people don't think about.
Yeah.
And the people that write these blogs are not financial planners, advisors. They're just looking for the risks. And I love what we do because it does answer most of these issues anyways.
Right, yeah.
There's health benefit riders that you get
Yeah.
that help out if you become too sick or if you have health issues. And so taxes is just a small portion of it.
Yeah, what was the other risk that you mentioned?
Oh yeah, death.
Yeah, death is a risk. It's not on there, but it's still a risk.
Dying
right?
too soon. And
Yeah,
that's
can affect your spouse or your family.
It can really affect it because you may lose half of your income.
Right.
So that's something that death is actually a good thing with what we do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're protected with if death happens.
You got that
the
death benefit.
Yeah.
Generates
what
a ton
money
of
you
tax.
put in turns into more money. So that makes it even better. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing. All right, well, coming up later, what does it mean to you that IUL has exploded in market share over the last 20 years? But first, just a reminder that if you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe and ask us a question or comment.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Is the 4% rule too high? According to Morningstar, researchers now recommend a safe withdrawal rate of 3.7%, meaning you should take even less of your nest egg due to market risks and other factors. Emron, first of all, what is the 4% rule? People out there scratching their heads like, what does he mean 4% rule? What is the 4% rule? And how does this new rule or the 4% rule in general, how does this hurt retirees or people preparing for retirement?
I wish I had the little cartoon that kind of it displays the 4% rule the best. I think I really should have had it ready and pulled it up on screen right there. But it's like, this old couple, and he's sitting on the couch and he's talking to his wife right here, and he's on his computer. He's got all of his papers, retirement accounts and stuff like that, reviewing them. And he's telling his wife, after his analysis, if we take a late retirement and an early death, we'll just squeak by. I think that best illustrates the 4% rule. The 4% rule, maybe it really is. You kind of look at it, and probably comes a lot from Wall Street and from the financial services industry.
Because most retirees' money's in kind of the market for the most part.
Well, and whether it's directly in the market, and typically the financial services industry says, like, everything that you were doing, all that momentum, that compound interest you were earning during your earning years, when you hit your retirement years, they change your entire strategy to where you're hardly earning any more compounded. Like, they strip all the compounding capability out of your strategy. They put you all in like bonds,
conservative,
really conservative, so that you can't lose.
Right.
But what you are losing is you're losing 93 million. You're losing the miracle of compound interest. Now, the miracle of compound interest is the sole source. It is your greatest source to be able to not run out of money.
Right.
Yeah.
And why would you get rid of your greatest asset, compound interest? Now, the reason why they do it is because they can't predict. Sequence of returns is one of the greatest devastators to this. So, that 4% rule, if you take $1 million, right? If you have $1 million, that 4% rule, 4% of $1 million is only
$40,000.
$40,000.
Yeah. Right.
And and you mentioned 3.7 instead of 4%.
37,000.
So $37,000. You're talking about, for every $1 million you have set aside for your future, you can only take out $3,000 a month.
That's crazy, because most people look at $1 million and think, "Oh, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I should be pretty secure with $1 million."
Yeah. 3,000, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it doesn't even
$3,000. Then
taxes.
you're gonna have to figure out how to live off of $2,000, $2,500 a month.
Whatever that is.
This is just crazy.
Right.
Crazy. You can either keep on. Everybody out there, keep on following the crowd. That's your choice. Keep on doing what everybody else is doing, and you're going to keep on getting what everybody else is getting, which is that 4% rule.
Yeah.
Or you start being smarter with your money. You start thinking and being smarter with your money.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned 3.7%. If I wanted $100,000 income.
Yes. What is this?
And that's even a gross income. Okay, if I wanted $100,000 gross coming out of my retirement accounts,
What would the nest egg need to be?
3.7%, I'd have to have over north of $2.7 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And if you needed to net 100,000, like Doug talks about, you got to take out 50% more money. You got to take out 150,000 to net 100,000. Holy cow! Now you're even looking at now you're looking at what, almost $4 million. You got to have $4 million to net $100,000 after taxes.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That doesn't sound fun.
Right?
That's all you got to do. That's it.
Okay.
So again, either get the $4 million or start working smarter. Be smarter.
Yeah.
I don't know if people notice, but 3.7 is less than 4%. So not only is that number going down, but guess what's going up? Inflation.
And half the time, I feel like sometimes the financial services industry is telling you, and Wall Street, they're telling you to keep the money in there, like we've said before.
Because they just don't want you to take it out.
Right. Wall Street was not designed to take money out of it. Number two, they don't want you to take it out because they're getting their fees based off of a bigger account, right?
His retirement's not building.
Right.
Maybe
your
they're
financial
saying
advisor's retirement
3.7, so you will be in a lower tax bracket.
Right.
That's what it is. They're going to keep you in a lower tax bracket.
They've been saying it. They got to make sure you're in a lower
It's
bracket.
all coming together now.
And here's the irony. If it's in an IRA 401k, you can't take out just 4%.
That's right.
RMDs are going to go north of 4%.
That's right. So
That's pretty funny.
Well,
That's
and I
great.
love that they sell you on 12, 15, 20% returns.
Yeah.
But then when it's time to take it out,
No. 4%, 3.7% payout. Aaron, how do we view this with like IULs and payouts out of IULs?
Okay, on an IUL, it's totally different because we don't have the risk in the market.
Yeah,
Okay, we can actually use the word guarantees. We have guarantees in IUL. You can't use that word when you're talking about money in the market.
Right.
You know, assets under management. IUL has guarantees of 0 is a hero. We can't lose when the market goes down. We have good growth up to caps and some that are uncapped. You've learned about that. Hopefully you've been watching our videos and so forth. But if we just go to the wisdom table here for a second, I'm going to share my screen. As I share my screen here, what we're going to look at is here's a simple IUL illustration, one of many companies that we use. But looking at this, you see this client put in about $527,000. The reason I did that dollar amount is I just kind of threw in an illustration real quick.
Yeah.
Death benefits $1,650,000, but I wanted there to be about $1 million when we retire.
Okay.
So at age 64, we retire. We got about $1 million. And by the way, this is only ran at 6.33%.
Pretty conservative.
Yeah, pretty conservative. These numbers could be higher. Yes, they could be lower, you guys. We have to say that. By law, this could be lower. These are the non-guaranteed values. This is the illustration, but we have a guarantee of 0. We can earn up to 10 in this one. We have another account that we can have 60% of the market and no caps. This is a very conservative company. We're going to talk about that in the next
So if you want to
episode.
see actual returns right now, just go to laserfinancial.com/IUL performance watch, and you'll see
that's right.
all the returns we've been getting are significantly higher than 6.33.
And if you look at historicals, they're that's why we're comfortable with the 6.33% number.
Very, very comfortable. It's
Right.
a very compliant illustration. This is what the companies want us to, or the government wants us to show is this very conservative.
And they
example.
handicap the illustration in other ways as well, which we won't get into right now, but just realize it's very conservative.
Yeah. So right here we're in retirement, we got $1 million in there. Anytime they pass away, leave behind $1,650,000. That death benefit that Scott was mentioning about, we got that.
Yep.
But looking at this example, we can take out $74,000 tax-free in the form of a loan. Watch some of our other videos, learn about how the loans work.
Yep.
But $74,000 is coming out tax-free. You're not paying the loan interest, by the way, either. Okay, so it's all coming out tax-free. You're netting $74,000 a year tax-free to age 100. Do the math on that for me, guys. What percentage is that of $1 million?
7.5%.
Close to 7.5%, right?
7.45.
Yeah, 7.44% to be exact, right? That's the payout in this illustration, and this is very compliant.
Wait.
Conservative.
What's 3.7% times 2? What is that? How much of that is versus 3.7?
7.4.
7.4? Wait a minute, so it's double.
This is double.
It's
100%
double the 4% rule or the 3.7% rule that Morningstar was saying.
Well, isn't a little bit better. It's a whole lot better.
Yeah,
double
but Aaron,
or more.
what is it after taxes and fees? What is it?
Well, guess what? This is after taxes and fees.
Wait, what?
This is net. Okay, there's
net?
no taxes. Okay, and this is net after all fees and expenses in the policy, $74,000 coming out tax-free. And go to the next page, taking out $74,000. We get down here to age 90. We got like $900,000 left at death. Okay, we put in $500,000. You go to age 100.
Wow.
Go to 100. We still have $500,000 left. We leave behind $600,000 at death, tax-free. We took out $74,000 tax-free all those years. We left behind still over, if they lived to 100, $600,000. You die at age 91, leave behind almost $900,000. Tax-free, tax-free, tax-free. You got there safer. And by the way, this is borrowing at, okay, we don't have time to get into this, but the loans, this is even conservative. The loan rate is where you borrow at 5, the money's still earning 6.33.
Yeah.
In reality, this illustration, we have to bump the loan rate up to 5.83.
Yeah, the illustration is handicapping the numbers just in the illustration, not in real life.
Yeah, so we should earn more
Just
like
to be more conservative.
in this conservative company, we should earn more like 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
But we're earning 6.3 and we're borrowing at 5.83. Just for kicks, let's just go to one other thing here. Let's go to this. And right here, this is Emran's simulators. This is not an illustration. This is a simulator simulating what one will look like. And I can, mimic what an insurance illustration looks like.
Right.
So this is running a similar example, a little less money going in, $500,000, 8% return. So if we earn 8%, which some of our IULs Emran have been doing, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Way higher than this even on some of them. So here, you put in $100,000 a year, and here in year 15, we got $1 million in there again. We're taking out $100,000 a year out tax-free. And this one at age 90, there's still $2 million left behind.
Wow.
Because we're earning 8, borrowing at 5%. Okay, so when you start to understand this, These policies, most of them have loan rates where you borrow at 5 while the collateral, the money in the policy is still earning index returns. So if that money is earning 7, 8, 9, 10, some of our policies with multipliers, we're getting 11, 12% average. Some like, higher returns than that, but average maybe 10, 11, 12. Just imagine what this income could be. I only ran this at 8% and borrowing at 5, generating 10% payout.
Wow.
So,
Tax-free.
I mean, it's beautiful because you're not eliminating that momentum,
Right.
That beautiful momentum of 93 million of compound interest.
Yeah.
In the IUL, you don't lose the momentum. You keep it going. Whereas traditional financial planning, they squash your momentum. They,
You take your money,
they throw the brakes on it. It's like
Right.
slamming on the brakes.
Well,
You're
yeah,
gonna get rear-ended
but
and you're just
why do they do that? Because of market volatility, right?
Yes.
But imagine being in the heart of retirement, age in 70s, 80s, in that age band, and there's a giant market crash, the biggest market crash you can imagine in your mind. That's why, right? Because you could lose half your retirement nest egg in a day or a year or whatever. And here you have these guarantees because it's all indexed.
And
Your
we've had
money's
one of-
not actually in the stock market.
We've had one of those major market crashes in the last
That's
5
right.
years.
Well, tell us about it,
March
And that's where you look at these. It's like, we look at these, we could generate easily 6 to 10% payouts, depending on what we earn on average, even higher maybe. And that's where you look at, and different ways of how it can come out, but all tax-free. So more predictability, higher returns with guarantees.
Awesome.
You should do this professionally.
That's pretty good, right, Scott? Scott, what are your thoughts?
I think he kind of nailed it, and
Nothing to add there, right?
no. I think
Wait. Scott's speechless. I've never seen this before.
I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'll pull the insults out better next time. Sorry.
Yeah, no
My
problem.
bad.
It's all good. All good. Doug, why don't you wrap us up on this segment? What would you add to all of this discussion?
Two things. Okay. First of all, what Emran mentioned, every single month starting in 2025, we post at laserfinancial.com/IUL Performance Watch actual statements. And for this, as of the recording of this, I did some YouTube videos ending September. You posted 30. And I think the lowest out of 30 was 7-point-something% return.
Right.
Many of them were in the teens and in the 20s. Some were even above 30%. Okay. That's what you get by rebalancing and diversifying and so forth. So we way under promise here at 6%, like Aaron did. And then if we just boost that up to 8, you saw the difference. The income changed from 75 grand a year, 7.5%, up to a 10% payout.
Yeah.
Now, this whole thing is about the 4% rule. This is what's ridiculous. And the reason maybe we haven't mentioned why the industry came out with it is because the broker dealers, they don't want to be sued for
Right.
somebody outliving their money.
Telling someone, oh, yeah, take this much money, and then
And
they run
so-
out of money because of a market crash.
And so what Dalbar, who studies investor behavior, said is, and we said this, I think, in the last episode, if you just bought and held, you might earn 10.7, even way back to the Great Depression, 9%, 9.14 before tax. You earn 9 in a 33% bracket, you're netting 6, okay? But no, the actual return was like 3.7 or 3.49. Because what happens when people retire? What do the fund? They switch from the compounding.
the growth strategy. You go from growth strategy to preservation.
Yeah,
strategy.
preservation.
Right.
So you go to bonds, and so now the yields are going to be lower.
Yeah.
And you're hunkering down. And what happens? The market starts going down, and your $1 million nest egg you're relying on, when the market goes down 10, 15, 20, 25%, people say enough already. And what do? They sell
Yeah,
low.
because they're
And they
they're
wait,
afraid.
and buy
They're
back
afraid.
high. So that's why the Dalbar says the average person with money in the market is averaging 3.49%, 3.5.
Wow.
So the 4% rule is designed to slowly deplete the nest egg, but not before your LE, your life expectancy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they're adjusting it down because it's even worse. But let's
Right.
just for one final comment, let's say it's 4. $1 million nest egg, 40 grand. Then you pay tax, even in a 25% tax bracket, because we kept you in a lower bracket. Ooh, look at us.
Right.
You paid $10,000 in tax. You're netting 3%,
Okay.
30 grand.
A quarter in taxes.
Wait, what about the 1% asset management fee?
That's right. Wait,
on the million.
Is it 1% on the amount you pull out, or
Is it 1% on what you net? No, they're charging you 1% on the whole portion,
whole kit and
including
caboodle.
the third that belongs to the government. Okay, so that's 10 grand.
Yeah.
Now you subtract taxes and fees. For 40,000, you're down to 20,000. That's the financial services industry standard. See, when we talk about 3.7 or 4, it's not really that. We have to subtract taxes and fees.
Right.
You're down to 2. Aaron just showed you 8. Okay.
yeah,
Net of all fees and taxes.
right?
Net.
Net.
8.
Net.
Okay.
Net.
All the
Net.
insurance
Net.
fees.
He showed you a 7.5%.
This is so amazing.
Okay.
This is
He showed
really
you
incredible.
7.5%. How much more is 7.5 than 2? How much more is 10, 100,000 a year payout? That was 8%, but because of the arbitrage, how much more is 10 than 2? Don't say 8.
It's 8.
It's 5 times
Yeah.
the income.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Wow.
So people are faced with the decision, I make this much, I can only pull out this much, and I only get to keep this much. Or with IUL, I make this much, I can pull out this much, and I get to pocket this much.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, really, IUL isn't a little bit better. On a conservative, it was twice as much. 7.5 was twice as much as 3.7, but 3.7 isn't the net.
Yeah.
When you really get down to the taxes and the fees, IUL usually is 4 to 5 times the income.
That's amazing.
And this is why you get financial advisors that say, I don't understand how they do this. 'Cause
Yeah,
they don't understand.
They
how
don't
do it.
understand how we could talk about this for another hour, right? Well, coming up, what does greater competition in the IUL industry mean for you? But first, if you're enjoying this content and are wondering how to take advantage of these ideas, Laser Financial helps individuals and families like yours implement proven strategies to grow and protect your wealth. One of the most powerful tools is an Index Universal Life Policy, or IUL. It's not just insurance, it's a tax-free retirement strategy, a way to grow your money with compound interest and a safety net against market downturns. Imagine being protected from market losses while still participating when the market goes up and having tax-free income that allows you to keep more of what you've worked so hard to save. Go to laserfinancial.com or call 801-505-0409 to schedule a free consultation and see how these strategies can work for you. That's laserfinancial.com or call 801-505-0409. Don't wait. Take the first step toward a brighter, more secure financial future today. Are you a financial professional wondering how you can expand your business working with IUL? Are you leveraging IUL to its full potential? That's where IUL Insiders comes in. In the upcoming weeks, they're hosting the IUL Challenge. It's a free 3-day event designed specifically for financial professionals to help you build a thriving, scalable business that sets you apart from the competition. You'll learn proven strategies to market, design, and sell properly structured policies that deliver incredible results for your clients and for your bottom line. If you're ready to elevate your practice and scale your business, visit IULchallenge.com/93 to save your seat. Spots are limited, so don't wait. That's IULchallenge.com/93.
Oh, yeah.
Take your business to the next level. Thank you, Barry White.
Yeah.
Is more competition. Scotty, would you read this title for us?
Is more competition in the IUL industry better for you?
What happened to Barry White? I thought that was supposed to be.
I was waiting for it too.
I was waiting for
I was all waiting for it. I was like,
Let me
oh.
cut that out.
Okay.
Is more competition in the IUL industry better for you?
There we go. All right. Is that true? The first indexed universal life policy, or IUL, was introduced in 1997. Since then, it's exploded in market share, increasing by 360% from the year 2003 to 2006, for example, closing that period with $338 million in annual premium. From that to a record high $3.8 billion in sales in 2024, which accounted for an astounding
That's
24% market share in the industry. That's pretty amazing, right?
Right.
But all of this,
24% share, that's huge.
that's huge, right? But all of this begs the question, is this good for you, the consumer? Aaron, has all this competition and growth in the IUL been good for the average person out there, and why?
I've been doing this for 23 years now, following, my dad and, doing this for a long time, and it is awesome. Competition has really helped because, I mean, you guys know this. I mean, anyone out there, competition helps with any industry. So what happens with competition? You get more competitive. Companies come out with new bells and whistles, new products, new features, things to be competitive to get market share.
Try to outdo each other,
Cheaper.
right?
Yeah, I mean, fees go
Gets
down.
lower, gets
Growth
more
gets
efficient.
better, more innovation.
Yeah.
We even had laws that affect what we do that also have improved it as well.
5 years ago, a law came out that made these things
Right.
even better, made them lower cost.
Yep.
So all those things, and companies are always coming to us saying, hey, what is the competition doing that we could do?
Yeah.
And like, what should we come out with our new product? Here's some new features. What do you guys think about them?
Very common.
And so it's like all these things. It's like, I look at an old IUL, like my first one in 2004. It was very simple, plain. And now the policies they have are so cool. There's so many bells and whistles and features in IUL that make them that much more competitive. And so competition's been great. There's like 85 companies that offer IUL. And right now we got like 3 top ones that we use right now mainly. These are all mutual companies with good integrity, good track record, never raise their fees. So we look at all this stuff and we pick a company. We have all these companies to choose from, 85. There's about 20 that are the top. Then we look at our like top 3 and there's a company that's got like the lowest fees in the industry, absolute lowest cost. So if you want the lowest cost IUL, we got that one. Very simple with indexing strategies, but they got the lowest fees and expenses. Then we have another one that's got like the best bells and whistles, number 1 in sales in IUL for a reason. They got the best returns, best index strategies. You can pay more to get more. Okay, so it's called multipliers. We talked about that before in an episode, didn't we?
Yep.
Where we can pay more to get more returns, and those ones can average much higher returns. You got more fees in that product, but more bells and whistles and features. Then we got one kind of in the middle that's like got good low cost, like literally the second or third lowest cost company out there, but has really good index accounts. So it's like we kind of frame it. We got these different companies. What are you interested in? Do you want the lowest cost one? Do you want one that's got the biggest returns and best features here? Or do you want kind of in the middle? And then we got, even more after that. But there's kind of a rough overview of why competition is great. We have many to choose from.
That's great. Love it. Ehrman, what are your thoughts?
Right down the exact same road right there. I mean, the innovation is absolutely fantastic. Trying to figure out how to best deliver what the client needs, which is good, strong growth, good, strong predictability, right? You want to be able to count on this money. This is for your serious cash, right? Not necessarily for your play money. I mean, if you got play money, so be it. Yeah. But this is for your serious cash.
You can do the 3.7% rule on that other money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want money that you're relying on that's going to last as longer than you do, and you're putting together a solid strategy that you can follow, you can count on. That's what this is for. I mean, that's where the innovation is. That's where all of the design is, and all the competition is going. All the competition is going, and not only that, with all this growth in today's world of information, it's not just the companies that are coming. Everybody's getting smarter.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody can see it. You can no longer like hide it.
And they have to get better and smarter.
Right? Exactly.
Or else they fall by the wayside, right? Yeah.
And so because everybody is more aware of what has to happen, right? We often talk about not just IUL, but properly structured, maximum funded IUL.
Good point.
A lot of people are like, I know what that is, and what it really is. I mean, people are becoming more and more aware.
Yes.
And so more awareness is always a good thing. Always a good thing.
That's awesome. Scotty, anything you'd add to this?
Yeah. Competition always drives innovation, and that's what we see in this industry. That's what I love. And that's another reason, too. A lot of times we'll see illustrations that were presented to someone, done wrong, but it's got them putting in a premium for the next 25 years, where with what we're doing, we're pretty much focusing on a 5 to 10 year period. And then start a new policy. In a new policy, you get more death benefit, you get greater bells and whistles that come along for that. So that's the beauty of it.
Let me ask you this, Scott. Does it affect companies' long-term strategies when there's more competition? In other words, some companies are out there saying, "Oh yeah, we've never increased costs or fees on any of our policies." Does that kind of affect competition too, where they want to focus on their long-term reputation, not just the short?
Yeah, that's the matrix Aaron's talking about. And that's why of 85, there's maybe 3 that we focus on the most because they have the good long-term reputation, great products, and they're focusing on creating an IUL product for doing what we do.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned, like we have a matrix we can show clients. If you call us up, Laser Financial, like we talked about, we can show you all the different companies, comparing their fees, comparing their index strategies, comparing
Strength
their
of
track
company.
record, how long they've been around, their ratings. We have all of that labeled, comparing the companies side by side, the top ones. So yeah, we can show that to you and get into all those details.
So
fun.
it's properly structuring, but also there's a lot of tangential elements that affect all the decision making.
Definitely.
Just because a company offers an IUL doesn't mean that it's actually going to do what we talk about. It doesn't even mean that it's a
even the best
profitable
companies we use. I have people come to me that bought a policy
Yes.
through another agent. Exact company I use, and the policy is designed horrible.
Yeah, so it has to
With
be
way too
structured.
much cost, way too much fees because they didn't design it right. And so it's got to be not just the right company, but designed correctly.
Remember, most agents are selling life insurance for the death benefit. So they're way overselling it, and it's not accumulating money.
I think that's a good warning for some of the consumers out there as well, as with this innovation. Sometimes companies are innovating, but some of the innovation is a little bit smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's several companies that are doing it where they're trying to get around like a regulatory on illustrations,
Right.
right? And they're doing some things behind the scenes to make their illustration
Illustrations
look better.
yeah.
It doesn't make the IUL perform better. Just
Right.
in fact, actual performance will actually be worse. And some of them are putting on these like fancy bonuses rather than giving you more actual returns.
We're cutting down the
Whereas
cost.
actually you don't take advantage of the bonus. You actually just take and you will get better growth, better returns.
Yeah.
So again, with innovation is fantastic, generally speaking, but make sure as a consumer as well, you find, like Aaron talked about, this matrix, find out, become aware. Be aware of what is smoke and mirrors, what's real and what's not real.
Yep.
Yeah. This is great.
You can't just compare the incomes, the bottom line.
Yeah.
Some companies that show higher income, I still would not use them because of this smoke and mirrors thing. So this is where we understand it. The matrix shows that of, what's best to use.
And we're going to show and teach it to you to see. I mean, become aware. It's not like a black box.
Nope.
Yeah. We don't have the names of the companies printed on our shirts or anything like that just because we're not beholden to one company.
That's a great point, Scott.
So we actually, whenever a new product comes out, we run it through our matrix, through our battery of tests. Sometimes, it's not a good product, so we're not going to even touch it.
Doug,
Oh boy.
You want the final word?
Look at
on
this. He's like,
This
got a
is-
big old breath. I'm waiting for it. It's coming.
this is this show is called 93 Million with Doug Andrew.
Yeah, you go back to Econ 101, okay?
Okay.
Competition. It's very, very healthy. And you can see it with automobile manufacturers. We get better automobiles because they compete, okay? Technology. Because we have competition, we know that Microsoft is better than Apple, Macs.
Whoa.
Ready to get a rise out of that.
Easy.
A PC.
I cannot believe you just did that to
or
me.
some people believe that a Mac is better than a PC. Okay, whatever.
Samsung's better than Apple. I mean,
But it reminds me, as we look at all kinds of products and services, I go back when IUL first was introduced in 1997. There was one company, and I happened to be one of the leading agents, the top agent actually, with that company that year. And I saw that, but I had to sort of take what they offered, and they gave some nice options. But there was no motivation at that point for them to stay on the cutting edge. Now, we fast forward, and for several years, you guys remember, we would go to conventions, we'd be invited, and the major carriers would all come to hear what we wanted, what were some of the features we wanted, and they're all sitting there listening because they want to have the edge, the competitive edge. Oh, well, maybe we ought to offer this, or maybe we ought to have this this type of an index, or this option, or a multiplier, or whatever. And so the companies that want to be on cutting edge, they are constantly innovating in order to attract the business. And so I just think it's interesting that pretty soon when you have clout and we know what people want in order to not outlive their money in retirement, we say, well, if the IUL had this feature, if it had that and this and that, and so it improves. It improves the products dramatically.
It does.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
All right. Well, I want all of you to bring out your phones to show what brand of phone everybody has. But anyways, all right.
Not Apple.
Just a reminder that if you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe and ask us a question or comment. We may use it in one of our next shows.
Show us your love.
That's all the time we have for today. Watch out for the biggest dangers in retirement. Don't get trapped by the 4% rule or anything else. And we'll see you next time on
Oh, yes.
93 million. Thanks, everybody.
And I have an
Thanks, everybody.
Apple iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Gross.
Apple
I got a
iPhone.
Samsung phone.
Oh, yeah, okay.